Good afternoon. Here's a short video showing how climate change is affecting diseases.
Is at stake. Cholera, Zika, malaria, these are diseases of our worst nightmares. Today's warming weather is creating perfect conditions for these infectious diseases to spread farther and faster than ever before. And it's all part of a bigger picture.
My name is Nathan Schechter, and this is Climate Change and the Effects on Disease Transmission from Insects. My research question today is how has climate change affected the transmission of diseases by insects in the 21st century? And after the research I have collected from college-based sources and academic journals, the ways that climate change is affecting diseases is presented here. One way is making diseases more resistant to extreme temperatures such as the cold in Alaska and the heat in Africa. Climate change is also affecting how severe disease outbreaks are. For example, some hot zones are more susceptible to infection due to climate change and being put into those hot zones. And a final way is climate change is affecting the migration patterns, completely moving some animals in a different direction than previous. As mentioned previously, climate change is causing certain diseases to become stronger due to living in extreme climates. As shown on the graph, some viruses are showing resistance to disinfectants, shown right over there. And what this means is the constant living in extreme and harsh conditions is causing diseases to mutate and the insects carrying diseases to also mutate and become stronger, shown right there. A scientist from the Indian Institute of Science and Technology states that the survival time on insects carrying diseases is influenced by the environment and climate. And as you can see, this is highlighted on the graph. As you can see on the second graph provided by the college-based stimulus, the resistance built from climate and human activities is causing mosquitoes and other insects to become stronger and mutate. The graph also highlights how insects such as mosquitoes are building a resistance to other household items such as traps and other mosquito repellents. This means that mosquitoes and other insects are evolving to the climate and the environment that they are presented with. Also, as previously mentioned, disease severity can be taken into account. And what this means exactly is certain diseases are evolving to switch hosts and repopulate faster, shown on this graph right here. Where climate is more extreme, more hot zones for infection have also been shown. Diseases have been shown to change vectors faster and faster as the climate is changing, shown on this graph right here. As you can see on the graph, there is a cause and effect relationship between the climate and its impacting disease outbreaks. To continue these points, migratory patterns are also being affected by the transmission of diseases. As shown here on the graph, with the red being previous animals living in those areas and the green pushing them out and showing an increase in those diseases and insects. Excuse me. Migratory patterns are being affected by the transmission of diseases, as shown here on the graph. Many organisms are sticking by the hotter climates, and the graph shows the progression of climates and pushing animals out of their natural habitats. The figure also highlights how the climate has pushed insects into certain types of trees, causing animals like squirrels and birds to lose their homes, shown right over here in the red and green. Some solutions to these problems are presented here. The way we use our emissions is very important to watch and to take note of reducing our emissions can reduce the heat and leave previously mentioned issues in the past. Another way is to pay attention to how diseases are mutating. Paying attention to this can help better research these insects that have these diseases to either find a cure or ways to prevent infection. And thirdly, we can save animals in harm's way from disease and insects carrying these diseases, saving these animals in migration of the deadly insects, keeping animals alive and safe will leave more room for research and less casualties. However, some limitations to the previously solutions are presented here. Changing could be a huge task for some countries and individuals. Some in the United States, for example, would be completely open to cleaning up our emissions, whereas some could care less. Another limitation is things regarding climate change and these big things take time and effort. We as humans have been trying to stay clean for a very long time, and the chances of us starting right now and cleaning everything up would take a lot of patience, time, and effort. These are my works cited. Thank you. Any questions?
All right, first question. What information did you need but you weren't able to find?
The information that I needed to further my points was firsthand sources living in these hot zones and these climate change areas, and I was just able to find firsthand sources for that.
All right, and what advice would you have for other people who want to consider this topic in the future?
Some advice I would have is to, like I said previously, find firsthand sources and use that to further your point.